Great administration in the aviation industry speaks to safety, efficiency, and profitability in the sector. Kenya Airways has succeeded in having a very good brand when it comes to also giving an African touch amidst all the other beautiful aspects I have mentioned earlier when it comes to the aviation sector, most especially on the East African bloc. That is the subject we are going to be dissecting today, the element of good administration, but also not forgetting the roots that speak to this particular airline. Olivia Nakalepe is my name. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another episode of the Aviation Blueprint. And as usual, we're proudly powered by Mbawa Aviation Media Foundation. Our social media platforms are very open for this particular conversation. Send in all those compliments, supplements, but also do not forget to like and share this particular platform with literally everyone in your circle, because we are here to unveil all the secrets that are hidden in the aviation sector in hope to inform, to educate, and to possibly bring in commendable investment into Uganda's aviation industry. Today, I'm seated with a gentleman that boasts of over 25 years in the aviation industry.
My experience begins from my very early years in school. I was somehow interested in tourism. I remember in my very young age, I was very fascinated by tour vans, with the rooftops up, the wildlife. Of course, Kenya is very blessed with national parks, so the national parks. So there was just something interesting about tourism. But then as I grew up and as I went through my schooling, I was starting to define where I really want to go.
Sure.
And I remember in high school, I was the chairman. Then we used to call it chairman. Nowadays, they are more chairpersons. But I was the chairman for the wildlife club in my high school.
Good entry point.
And I remember one time when I was in my third form, we did a visit to Savo East as a wildlife club for the school. And I saw these senior warden holding a very huge book written Ecology. And I got very interested. And his uniform, very well pressed, looking very good. And I thought, yeah, I need a career in this. But then when I finished school, my mind was on a tour guide, was more into tour guiding.
Okay.
But then when I went to college, I think I got more fascinated with travel, because that also now opened the world for me. Other than being fascinated by tour vans, aircrafts became more interesting. And so I did travel and tours in college. I actually wasn't interested in going to campus. I wanted to do tours and travel. So I did that. And that's why I own my travel in a college in Nairobi. Then I progressed with all the IATA certifications. And I would say that's where my journey started, into travel and into the aviation.
So how do you now get to practice in the travel sector? Walk us through the process. Where did you begin? What door, what office did you first knock at, up until where we are at here?
I would say I'm lucky. My first door to knock was Kenya Airways.
Wow.
And I joined Kenya Airways as an intern. because my background is in fares and ticketing. That was the interesting bit for me.
How was the experience like being an intern? What were the duties you were assigned to do?
So as an intern, because you're there to do what you call on-the-job training, you are exposed to what the role, the full measure of the role, and that to say, as an expert in travel, or as an expert in fares and ticketing, my biggest role was forming itineraries for customers, calculating fares, doing ticketing. So I would say it was more about fulfilling customers' needs when it comes to their travel in the most efficient and effective way. So that is what opened up for me as then we used to call it as a sales and ticketing agent. Then I grew up, of course, that was in the year 99 as an intern. Then 1st of August 2000, I was formally employed at Kenya Airways, still as a sales and ticketing agent. And I'm talking about this because you start small as a sales and ticketing agent. Then I grew up into supervisory levels in different offices, and that's where I started owning my leadership skills in aviation. To across the company, all through since I joined Kenya Airways, has been my sole employer. So for the 25 years of practice in aviation, all of them have been practiced in Kenya Airways, of course in different roles. I will also be lucky to say the longest I've spent in a role was 5 years, the longest. So I've been in and about. My average is 3 years in a role, and I move out to something else. It's more interesting, it's more challenging, you find new things, but it also grows your depth in the industry. Yeah.
Let's look at the skill set. What key skills have enabled you grow through the ranks?
So just like in another industry, aviation commands for very, I would call them critical skills. Because remember, you are selling memories.
Sure.
You know, airline and other industries are a bit different because I'm selling memories. I'm selling for you a seat that you don't have attached, because the point and our mandate is to move you from A to B. So I'm actually selling for you feeling, how does it feel to sit in a business class, in an economy class? So one, communication is very key.
Communication skills.
Communication skills, very key in this industry, because remember, there are cultural differences across the globe. So you have to be very clear in your communication. You have to be very flexible. So flexibility and adaptability into the environment. You have to appreciate cultural differences as well. And it's for that reason that communication becomes very key. The other thing that I've found to be very, very critical for success is teamwork. Teamwork and leadership. So let me say teamwork, in the sense that the whole journey for the customer has different phases that are addressed by different people. But at the end of the day, the customer just wants a good experience. So teamwork is very critical across the steps of the journey for the customer. Of course, we don't forget integrity. Integrity, for you to know you'll do the right thing at the right time. Doesn't matter whether someone is watching or
in
not.
the aviation sector.
Yes. The other thing that I've found to be very critical and important for success is time management. Yeah.
Time management.
Time management.
That's a very, very big problem in Uganda. Sometimes, to some people, it's actually very prestigious to come in late. Because
Um,
everyone will turn ahead and be like, okay, they
not
have
not
arrived.
not in the aviation industry, because you have very limited resources, and time is one of the most limited resources in our industry, and that is because our resources are so pressed to make sure we deliver the service that we promise the customer. So if you run what we call a scheduled network, then schedule becomes very critical. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes in the airline industry
It's
makes
a
a
lot
big
of
difference.
time, yes.
That's why you also see networks and airlines operating networks. You're able to estimate what exactly is the minimum connecting time. Why would you talk of a minimum connecting time? Because it's the time you need from when a customer arrives at point A and when they get their next flight to connect to point B. So, for example, today we operate a network and our hub is Nairobi. How long does it take for someone who is coming from Entebbe to Nairobi to go to Dubai? So that's why time becomes of great essence to ensure one, timely operations, but also to keep the promise to the customer. Because the customer also plans according to that schedule. He will be booking today because he has something to do tomorrow. So that becomes very critical for us. I would say the last bit, not the last, but of course among the top that I find to be very interesting, is attention to details.
Wow.
Because every customer is unique.
Sure.
Um, I remember one time calling someone a mister, and they turned and said, I'm a professor. So that attention to detail makes the uniqueness of every customer. So every customer is unique, and attention to their detail, because their needs and their requirements are very different from the other customer. So that those are attributes that I would say I've found to be very critical in this journey.
Mr. Mwangangi, what key milestones have defined your 25-year career as we speak?
Um, it's good to celebrate successes, however small they are,
Yeah.
because that's what makes life interesting. Um, First, like I said, KQ was my first door to knock, and that was a good start for me. So that's a milestone when I count in my working life or even in life. Just working for KQ, having the opportunity to help KQ realize its strategic goals is a key milestone for me in life.
I mean,
More
very few
so,
people would spend 25 years at one workplace.
yes, but that also talks about the kind of employer KQ is. Okay.
Okay.
Um, so one of the key measures for success of a company is your staff retention. What is your
Yes.
level of staff retention? The leadership opportunities that are made in KQ for me are critical, because, like I said, I started my leadership skills rather than from school, where I was a school captain. So my leadership skills were honed from very young age. But when I joined KQ, of course, you join from a level, and I grew up to supervisory level, increasing my team numbers from, I think, 5, 10, 15, running 24-hour operations, to current level where I'm a country manager, having looked after our market, our home market, Kenya, in 2017, then Ethiopia market from 2021, and now in Uganda from 2024 September. And that also still tells you the average time that I told you about, 3 years in a role. And that's good enough. Well, the first year you know the role, the second year you perfect it, the third year you're outdoing yourself, and the fourth year it's good time to leave that role to someone else to grow into it. Um, of course, working in the airline industry gives you a chance to meet new people, understand cultures, And that has been a milestone for me. Just seeing different people, it opens up your mind.
Okay.
It gives you a different thinking into what the globe is and what the global community is. Because today, remember, we are saying the globe is a village. So how do you fit in that village as a person? And aviation and working for KQ has given me an opportunity to experience that. Last but not least is traveling the world. It's everyone's dream to travel the world.
I love to travel.
And having a chance to work for an airline, and more so KQ, gives me a chance to travel the world. And I've seen the world. I would say that something that I used to dream about, but dreams are valid. Now I'm
And they
actualizing
come
that dream.
true.
They do come true. So that's those are key milestones that I would say.
No.
But also maybe the one that touches my heart
The most?
more, I would say um, training and seeing new aviators come into the play. Part of my career, I was training. I was in training as a training officer, and I got our training center into certification by IATA. And today, as I walk around in KQ and out of KQ, because the center trains for KQ and for the market.
Okay.
Today, I walk in somewhere outside, and I'll pick an example in Doha. I'll find one of my students.
Okay.
I'll find 2, 3. In Kenya Airways, there are just many of them. And that gives you satisfaction to see you've made a difference in someone's life. So that's very close to me.
Lighting a candle.
Yes.
That is quite an interesting journey that you have shared with us thus far.
Yep.
And for those of you out there that are dreaming of pursuing a career in aviation, I mean, you've had it right from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
Mr. Felix has just shared with us where he began, how he entered, and how he's managed to stay afloat in this industry. It's quite actually interesting how one could get to stick with one employer for 25 years. I mean, the living example I have is my dad.
Yeah.
He was an electrical engineer
Yes.
with UEB. And when even the privatization came through and they still split UEB into distribution, transmission, generation, he still stayed in there and was with transmission until he resigned.
Yes.
No,
He retired.
until he retired.
Yeah.
So he's never seen any other, like what
Yeah.
space.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
quite interesting.
Yes.
Let's now get to the bigger picture of the aviation industry. What do you make of our aviation industry in East Africa vis-a-vis the global picture?
So I think maybe we started from the global perspective.
Okay.
Then we can down into East Africa.
Okay.
And aviation in the globe plays a critical role, very critical in connecting people and facilitating trade. You can talk of almost all industries connected to aviation. Either it's passenger movement or cargo.
Okay.
So it's very connected and a very critical enabler to economies, country GDPs, employment opportunities, and that cements the place for aviation in the world, but also in making the world a more and a better place to be. So globally, passenger numbers are expected to grow. So we see growth in the aviation industry.
Okay.
And the estimation from IATA, which is International Air Transport Association, which is the body that governs airlines, it's estimated numbers will be in the upward of 6.7% compared to last year, that's 2024. And that speaks to growth in passenger numbers.
Okay.
In terms of cargo is expected to grow in the upwards of 5% compared to 2024. And that again speaks to the future of the industry. Total industry revenues are expected to be beyond $1 trillion this year. That's again in the upward of 4.4% increase compared to last year. Mind you, that $1 trillion is the first time we are surpassing as an industry.
Okay.
So it's a key indicator to where aviation is going. And that also is supposed to speak to investors who are interested in aviation.
Yes.
When you come down to your question of East Africa, I would say East Africa is bound to grow in the aviation industry, in tandem with what we are seeing globally. And that is enabled by a lot of things that we are seeing. So if I look at East Africa, I see growth in demand going forward. Demand for air travel. Okay? Why am I saying so? Because East Africa as a region is growing in terms of population. There's increase in the middle class, so there is appetite to spend. Travel is being demystified, air travel. Because initially it looked like elitist.
I think of luxury.
Yeah. So,
but
again,
right now it's more of a necessity.
It's a necessity.
Yes.
It's a necessity because you're either competing on money or time.
True. I know, right?
And given a choice for the two, I'll pick time. Someone
joked should fly out to Nairobi for lunch and then, get back in.
Absolutely.
Like, if she, wanted to put luxury and time in the same sentence.
Yes, absolutely. So the growth in demand is expected in East Africa. Number two, we expect to see increased connectivity, increased options for customers to interconnect East Africa. And that is to say more players coming into the industry.
Yes.
Okay. Existing players upgrading,
tightening up their builds. Yes.
And for existing players, it's either you increase what we call frequencies into a point that you're already operating, or you start new city pairs, or you even upgrade the kind of equipment that you're using. In essence, to say you're offering more seats in the market for customer options.
Okay.
And your friend is right, because today you can leave Entebbe at 9:55 on a Kenya Airways flight.
Yes.
You'll be in Nairobi by 11.
Yes.
You have your lunch. You can leave Nairobi at 6 p.m.
I know, right?
You're back in Entebbe by 8 p.m.
Oh, la la.
So it's like you didn't go anywhere. Okay? And that is the essence of connectivity and the air travel, facilitating and gaining time for people to do other critical roles that grow the economy. For East Africa again, I see upgrade of infrastructure. As we speak today, Entebbe International Airport is going through upgrade. It's expanding its capacity. Jomo Kenyatta in Kenya, in Nairobi, is expected, and there have been discussions on to expand the airport. That is infrastructure. Even the infrastructure development, the support. How do I get from the airport to the city center? How friendly is it? Do I get stuck in traffic for hours? Is it smooth? All those are components that support the aviation industry and want to choose where to go, either as a destination or as a point of transit. Again, we see technology coming into big play, and technology here is to increase safety and security, and also give the customer more personalized capability. So we see that in East Africa, we see the growth, and we will expect the growth to be in tandem. Again, remember, East Africa has been expanded. We have new members, and that will speak to the demand that I was talking about. So you expect, because then travel within the East Africa is more flexed in terms of requirements. So you expect more people to start traveling within the region. And with the new members in East Africa community, then that also brings in the appetite and the goodness to start traveling more frequently, because the requirements for me to travel from country A to country B are more relaxed. I'm now able to go without having to apply a visa. I can get a stamp on arrival.
We definitely also wanted you to help us read into, the trends that you see from afar are getting to define the aviation industry. And that is where we are going to begin from right after this break. Do keep it right here at the Aviation Blueprint. I'm Olivia Nakalembe. We'll see you in a bit. This is the Aviation Blueprint, and we are here to let out all the secrets pertaining the aviation sector. We want you to hop onto this trail because it is one that actually speaks to growth, just like Mr. Felix alluded to that fact. Our social media platforms are readily open for you to comment, to supplement, and give us constructive feedback on how we can grow this family. So hit us up and we shall be giving you timely feedback. But also don't forget that we are proudly powered by the Mbawa Aviation Media Foundation. Let's get into this, Mr. Mwangangi. It looks like there's so many trends right now as we speak. And if we are to speak about stiff competition in the sector, or for businesses to stay afloat in the aviation industry, the things that definitely have to be picked on. What are some of these trends that you are seeing in the nearby future that shall largely and hugely define aviation?
There's a lot of change that we've seen.
Sure.
And the trends that we foresee going forward, which will be critical or which will define where this industry goes in respect to the environment or to where we operate. So first we see increased use of technology, because we know the AI, artificial intelligence. So technology will be and is playing a key role in defining where the industry goes. AI is helping us to define customer preferences. Remember, at some point I said every customer is unique in their requirement.
Indeed, they are.
And actually, not every customer. Actually, even the same customer is unique at every travel opportunity. Because today they are traveling for leisure. Tomorrow they are traveling for business.
True.
Those two, while the passenger is the same or the customer is one, but
The preferences
the
have
preferences,
changed.
the uniqueness is totally different
True.
within the two. So we see technology playing a key role in where the industry goes. Number two, we see the growth in population, giving an opportunity for, just like I said earlier on, for increased demand on air travel. So as you would imagine, Africa has the opportunity for growth in aviation. Of course, we don't forget about the environment. Sustainability.
Yes.
So that again is a key factor that we see going forward. Our airlines and aviation industry can reduce its carbon emissions, and again, so that becomes a critical aspect. Even as the industry strives to get to net zero by 2050, then that is all in play for any aviator or any person in aviation or any stakeholder in aviation.
We should desist from looking at sustainability only from the environment perspective, but also how the benefits, say for example, the benefits of the operations of Kenya Airways, how do they trickle down to the person on ground? I feel like that is one of the most interesting things that I'd love to actually see in the element of sustainability for many of the players in the aviation sector.
If we are able to reduce emissions, carbon emission, and there are strong efforts and strong initiatives to ensure the aviation industry reduces carbon emission, and that leads to sustainability, and also ensuring we operate in a healthy an healthy environment. We also see technology assisting the industry to put more power into the customer in terms of you're speaking about mobile apps, we are speaking about self-service websites, we are speaking about the customer getting timely updates by use of technology. So we are seeing that becoming, and we see that being a way that will define the industry going forward.
Okay.
Speaking about sustainability, it's not a luxury. It's a must do. Because also you're getting customers who are now more aware, and they're even asking, what is your effort into sustainability as an organization? Because they want to be sure they're also playing their part. We've seen actually initiatives where airlines actually ask customers to voluntarily contribute to the effort of ensuring their sustainability by either making some donations as they make their bookings on the website, and customers are doing it. So it's becoming a must discussion.
Speaking of career development, for you out there that is watching us, the young person that we are speaking to, a potential investor that we are speaking to, once you've listened to Felix give us the trends that are defining or that are yet to define the sector, or actually that are already defining the sector, you now know where to pay attention. And that is why such conversations are very, very critical. So I'd love to hear from you and what you'd have to say about Felix's submissions. Where should we be paying attention? It's not actually only even in terms of defining career, but also where our government's actually paying attention. Where are they, capitalizing, say, for example, in investment?
Yep.
And I mean, these are critical conversations that we needed to have had yesterday. It's at this material juncture that I would now love to ask Felix to. You've told us about the trends, but is Kenya Airways putting this into into play? But anyways, Mr. Mwangangi, if someone heard about Kenya Airways for the very first time,
Yes.
how would you describe Kenya Airways to this first timer?
Kenya Airways has been in play for many years. Okay, we've connected Africa to the world and the world to Africa for many years. We just celebrated 48 years um, uh, this January. Okay, and that speaks to the brand that Kenya Airways has been, connecting Africa to the world to Africa, but also connecting Africa. Why? Because we want to empower people and be part of people's lives in ensuring they grow in terms of economy, contribution to country GDPs, provide employment, and we do that with utmost pleasure.
What are some of those
for
things,
Africa.
Mr. Mwangangi, that Kenya Airways stands for in terms of their operations?
So I would say, just from what we would say, it's to enable trade, facilitate, connect, um, but also give people an opportunity to get employment. Um, and it's in different areas. Employment here, you're talking about direct and indirect.
And indirect.
There is a small farmer somewhere who farms things that are served on board.
Sure.
That farmer benefits from Kenya Airways operations. There's a third party doing something else, either providing transport, ground transport. So the essence of us to make sure we empower the population and ensure that people have livelihood, and for that matter, good livelihood.
Okay.
So we stand for that. We stand for sustainability. We continue to win awards in terms of our efforts into sustainability.
We've seen those.
And that speaks about what we want and what we see for the future. But more about it is ensuring we can facilitate people movement and trade, because that for us is critical to ensure we help the places where we operate in, to ensure people are able to move on with businesses, with trade, connecting people, loved ones. So all those kind of things come to play for us as Kenyans.
Still more about Kenya Airways, because this is a brand, I mean, like that we see, we really interface with. There's very good branding, and we just want to delve, just a little bit into it, just to get to understand it more. There's this African touch on literally everything that Kenya Airways does. Why is that important?
Because first, we're Africans.
Yeah, that's actually a very important
and charity
point.
begins at home.
Yes, sure.
It will be interesting for you to know, actually on board we have the African basket. We serve some meals on the African basket. So things like the bread on the African basket.
And that was actually going to be my next question. In what ways does, the pride of Africa then come through? But I mean, like you're already doing it.
If you look at our official uniform, it's very African.
Very beautiful.
Very African.
We love.
We've always maintained the animal print. Because that's where our roots are. And you can only be as strong as your roots. And we have to also take pride in that. We are populating, or we are putting forward the African agenda in aviation. And wherever Kenya Airways flies, yes, people can relate to it, to Africa. And that of course speaks about also why the brand has been so popular and pronounced.
Mr. Mwangangi, let's get a little into African careers.
Yes.
It's still very expensive to travel within Africa.
Yes.
But yet it's a bit cheaper to travel outside Africa.
Yeah.
Where is the problem?
I don't want to call it a problem.
Where is the issue?
Maybe it's an opportunity.
Okay.
So if you are comparing Africa aviation or intra-Africa aviation compared to other markets, of course you'll see there's still a lot of space for growth for the aviation. There's still a lot of need for friendly and cost-effective infrastructure. There's also the need for more demand, because airlines operate to facilitate transport between A and B. And as much as you want to do operations, there has to be enough demand
Yeah, sure.
to
Yes.
cater for that operation. So at times you find because there is low demand, but there is need for that connection, then you find rates are a bit on the higher side.
Okay.
And that would explain possibly what you're talking about, high rates within Africa. But also remember, competition also is a key player into how you do what you call pricing. But also to mention, because we are speaking about this, airline pricing is not it's not cost plus based.
Okay.
It is based on value. So first of it, it's competition. What is the competition in play?
With the outside market, the outside aviation industry.
As aviation.
Okay.
So what is the competition within what you would call the city pair? Yeah. So it's point A and point B. So what is the competition in that? Number two, what what is the value that you're giving? Okay. And here value is where we speak about you can choose to be in economy class, someone else chooses to be in business or first class.
Yes.
Okay. It's also what value are you looking at as a customer? And that will explain the discrepancy or what you will see in terms of pricing in regards to intra travel as opposed to out of Africa travel. So competition is key. Value, the value you're offering is also very, very key. But also, just to because we are speaking about these and you asked a good question of why is it so costly? Again, it's also how we at what point do you do your booking?
Okay.
So there's an aspect of time by the time you do your booking and when do you want to travel. Um, at the beginning of this show, you talked about last minute. Okay.
We love last minute things,
So we
Mr.
love last minute
Mwangangi.
things. So last minute becomes
Very
expensive.
expensive.
Yeah. And my advice to anyone who wants to enjoy discounted travel or reasonable travel, the earlier you book, the better you get a good rate. So again, that is also an aspect of yes, I'm paying this, but I could have paid lesser if I had done my booking a bit earlier. Because we do all the other plans, but the ticket is always the last thing to do.
Does Africa's political landscape have a hand when it comes to the cost, that goes into this sector? Because there's countries in Africa that are actually visa free. There's countries where you have to pay a hefty amount of money to actually get a visa into that country.
Yeah.
And even when you pay for it, it's no guarantee that you'd actually get it. Wouldn't we be looking, as a continent, wouldn't we be looking at a round table where persons of influence or leaders could come, and sit down
Yeah.
and agree about, because at the end of the day, I kind of feel like Africa was one country.
Yes.
But then, yes, there's diversity, yes, there's differences, but the differences are very meager.
Yeah.
And I feel like Europe has done it.
Yes.
Asia has done it.
Yes.
Isn't it possible? Isn't it something that we should be looking at on the African continent to first of all promote travel within the continent before spending this hefty sum of amount
Yes.
collective
Yes.
outside the continent?
It's an idea whose time maybe if I say we would have done it long time ago.
Okay.
Okay. Because like you rightfully say, all those costs build into the cost of to the ultimate cost one pays to travel from A to B. And I'm happy from what you've said, because we've seen in the recent years countries making it deliberate to allow other citizens from other countries to travel, okay, and get a stamp on arrival or visa free. Um, we've had Kenya do that.
Yes.
I think they've just upgraded it further. We've had Ghana did that. I think Rwanda did that. And I will tell you, because when Kenya and South Africa did away with visa requirements, we saw a spike in travel.
Okay.
Okay, so like you're saying, yes, there are government policies and decisions that will need to be taken um, to spur or to ensure there is more intra-Africa travel and even more intra-Africa trade.
True.
So yes, you're right, there are policies that sit at government level. And I think it's more about all stakeholders getting involved to discuss that. But ultimately, it becomes a government decision.